Decorations, man, that's the first thing that kids see when they walk into your church. Now, there should be bonus tip for you. The first point of contact for them is who is greeting them outside. Your welcoming committee, your safety and security guard. At my last church, we had a 80-year-old gentleman who was like 7'3" or something. He's a very tall man. He was the first point of contact that the kids saw when they came in, and he was there every single year. You want a good greeter. Even if it's just the traffic guard, making sure they cross the road. That's their first point of contact to your VBS, but then they walk in and they see everything. And if they see like a bush and sad faces, that's not the impact we want. So we want to decorate big. Basically, we've done this before. You guys know or should know how to. So we switched it up a little bit. I'm not going to give a whole lot on the tutorial of how to do it. Just a quick, you will get on your download, your clip art from the Answers resource, put it on your computer, project it, then you're going to trace it. Then I like to cut first because I don't always stay in the line. So then I cut it out, then I go through and paint it, and then you have cool cardboard things. Some people will paint it first. Cardboard, as you see, my hippo here, he is from Camp Kilimanjaro, so he has some A's on him. He's a little curved. If you paint both sides of cardboard, it won't curve as much. You could also lay the flat pieces in between tables. If you've got big round and square tables at church, lay them there. It will help flatten them. And the thicker the cardboard, the less that is going to curl. But I'm a little too lazy to paint both sides of my cardboard, so you'll see most of mine. But it's just like for the hippo, it works. He kind of stands up on its own. If you're very artistic, you can freehand stuff. How many you can freehand and make it actually look like? Okay, so find these people, if they live near you, be their friend. I can't. It looks horrible. The only things I can't freehand are plants. I can freehand plants because they can look funny, but animals, no. So there are lots of images on there. When I'm tracing, I like to copy all of the details, knowing if I don't draw where the eyes go, the eyes are not going to go in the right spot. It's going to look weird. So that's the basics of doing that. Does anyone need any further detail on how to do that portion? Yes?
What kind of paint do you use? Yeah, what kind of scissors?
Yeah. So for fine details, I like a really good box cutter. You want it sharp. If you're doing really thick cardboard, probably signing an electric or reciprocating saw is going to be really good. But I do everything with a box cutter, and I have a favorite box cutter at my house. For paint, you can literally use anything. I like to just go and buy Walmart paint, or when people will donate, you know, when like the kids leave the house, and like, here, you can have everything that we've had in our craft closet for 27 years. I'm like, I'll take it. So I will just use a hodgepodge of this kind of paint, but you can also use house paint. So this is another way that you can save money. Ask your church, do you have some leftover cans of paint? It doesn't matter what color they are, we'll take them. You can mix colors. You could even go and kind of buy the rejects at paint stores or ask for donations. It could be a funky shade of green that might make the perfect jumble. You can go to Lowe's, Home Depot. Honestly, Walmart has a clearance aisle of paints that have been returned or got tinted wrong. You could get them really cheap. If you do a base coat, especially of a lighter color like white, it's going to make your colors pop more, and you're going to need less of the colors. I'm just lazy. I mean, that's some extra stuff I don't want. But yeah, like so. It is lazy. Cut curves. It is hard to cut through that latex paint, and it is that. So she said cut first if you're using latex paint because it's hard to cut. You won't get as clean of cut lines. That's why I like to cut and then I paint.
Paint and use a cheaper paint to Walmart to dye it, whatever color you want it.
Yeah.
Makes your paint go a lot further.
Yeah. So use the white paint and then tint it with other paint colors. Stretches it out.
If you, on the back of your cardboard, just paint with a little bit of water instead of the whole like color everything, it also...
Ooh, so paint with a little bit of water on the back and it will help keep it from bending. Good tips. Any other questions or fun tidbits in this portion? Yeah.
If you have thin cardboard, they do make cardboard scissors.
Cardboard scissors. So thinner cardboard scissors. I'm going to guess Amazon because Amazon said it all.
Can you talk about projecting?
Yeah. Yes, so you will download it. Well, you can go old school. How many of you still have the traditional overhead projectors at your church? You can absolutely do that. You can still purchase on Amazon the printable transparency sheets. Don't make the mistake I made and not knowing that there's a difference, because if you try to print on a write-on transparency sheet, it will melt in your copier. So you can do that way. But most of us now, we are going to use our computers. So you're going to download your image. Let's say I want to do that cute little bird there. I'm going to pull up the bird as big as I can on my computer. I'm going to hook up a projector. Any kind of projector works. You can go get a $50 cheapie from Amazon or Walmart. That'll work. You're going to hook it up. And then it's going to project the image, dark room. Some people like to trace with a Sharpie. Some people like to trace with a pencil. It's just your preference. And then you're going to make it as big or as little as you want to do. I do have some fun tips on sizing in a little bit because there's pictures. So yeah, you'll just project it, trace it out, and then either paint or cut depending on what you like to do. All right, we're going to keep going. So this one is next level cardboard. So I want to get you guys thinking about how to make it a little bit better. So what can be reused is always my first question. How can I use it again? I will try to plan this year's VBS decor based on what I think could be purpose next year. And one of the contract writers, sometimes I know, so that helps me. That won't help you though. But what can be reused? And I keep it. If I have made it and spent the time to make it out of paint, I know that it's going to be reused again. So for instance, my hip hop here, he's from Camp Kilimanjaro. This will not even be his second one. He's came out a lot. There are a lot of kind of evergreen, useful in a lot of places. In kind of plants, greenery can be repurposed, reused, and then think creatively. So we had this baptistry and I wanted to do a space scene on it, and I needed something very large and I didn't have cardboard that large, so I painted a galaxy on a bed sheet. Maybe a sheet torch. Sheets actually hold paint really well. When we were doing the Incredible Race and I wanted to do the Tower of Babel, the ziggurat, I did not have cardboard that large. So I got creative. What you see here is about maybe a little over 5 foot panel. The dark part in the blue, that's 2 of them. And I sat it on top of boxes and then made a bottom piece to go there. So I was able to get a very tall piece by getting creative with my layout. So I had 2 pieces on bottom, and then the tall part of the ziggurat is sitting on top of boxes. You couldn't see the boxes, but they hit it. I then, because I like to keep things like, what can I do with this one? So then for Mystery Island, it got turned around and I made it into a volcano. So how can you paint on the backs of your things? I have sand dunes on one side, and the other side were ice caps from Operation Arctic. Think about, can you paint on the back of things and reuse it? My ziggurat probably won't be used again. I could have repainted over it, but I spent a lot of time on that, so it might come in. So I use the back. Volcano and mountain, I can repurpose that. So can you repurpose things? So I like to decorate in layers. You want to have some depth. If you just had a single thing, and this is something that when I was first doing VBS, I made the mistake of, and I got so much smarter as time went on, and I would do more and do groupings. It makes it more interesting, it makes it pop, it gives it dimension. Versus if I just had just a plant and nothing else by the plant, it's not gonna make as big of an impact. I also got really creative with what I could do. I didn't have a team that could build me big walls, so my backdrop every year is photo stands and fabric cloth. So I would buy blue because blue can be a backdrop for just about anything. And I would hang things on it. Get creative with your space, saying what could be repurposed, what can be reused. My sand dunes there, a lot of the backs of them, they've got snow caps on them. But you'll see the groupings. I would layer things put together. We got our paper mache rocks. That's a great job for kids or teens. A box, old paper works great. Newspaper, tape. Crates are from Camp Kilimanjaro. They were boxes and contact paper from Dollar Tree. If you're doing a backdrop system like I am, you can hang things down. The handprint symbol, that was the back of a sign that we made for an event. It was that big corrugated plastic. It takes paint really well. And I'm like, we're not gonna need this sign anymore, but I'm gonna keep it because that was a good piece of board, right? Yeah. How can you repurpose? How can you reuse? You can also ask congregation members, just get to the climate of your church where they now, I got a new couch, I got a new bed, mattress boxes are great. TV, do you want this cardboard? And they're just gonna bring you big pieces. You wanna have a good store of cardboard, and then just always keep a stash. If you have a place either at your house or your church, keep a stash. The other day, yesterday, my daughter was painting for fun, and she had all of her leftover paint, and there's purple glitter paint. I'm like, I don't want to waste that. It's already poured. So I had to plant with some purple glitter paint because I didn't want to waste it. But I had some cardboard in store. So sometimes we are limited by the size. How many of you guys struggled with that with our dragons last year? Like you don't want a tiny dragon, you want a big dragon, but where do I put it? Well, here's your solution. Only do part of the thing. So this was a mattress box, thanks to my parents. They got a new mattress. It's like, yes, I want that cardboard. So I only made the head of the dragon. And as you can see, it was as tall as me. So then he got painted and made all cool. And he was overlooking the castle keep. We actually used fishing line to hang him on the pipe organs, which was probably not the best. And how else do you hang a 6-foot-tall dragon head to overlook the castle? So imagine when the kids walked in, and they walked in the sanctuary, and they see Daryl the dragon overlooking the keep. He made a big impact. I couldn't make an actual 6-foot dragon to put in there, but man, I could make his head. I creatively made it where he was peeking out. So you have his neck peeking out, then at the top I did some, like the zigzag of the stone top, added some ivy over there, saved myself some time, some space. I also want you to look at the close-up of him. And this is part of your challenge today, is to go a little bit deeper with your designing. So you could do just a basic color on something. I'm using some plants as an example. Just some regular old green. It's good, but does it really pop if this was a plant on stage? It's just a solid one shade pop. Not as much as it could. So all of my designs, you'll see the Answers in Genesis team, the VBS Touch Church, they will do black outlines. Does that pop a lot more than just plain? Absolutely. How many of you guys did theater in school? Anybody a theater person? A couple? Yeah, I was a theater major. So you have the rule of distance. The lady in the pink shirt all the way in the corner, all the way in the back, standing up. You're super far away from me. Which looks better from you, this or this? The second one, right? So in theater, you do makeup and your stage makeup. It would look so much different from me to you versus from me to back there. So you do it a lot bigger. Well, it's the same thing with our decorations. Depending on your space, you want the people in the last row of your sanctuary, auditorium, whatever you're doing, you want them to have a good impact. So you really want it to look kind of awkward for an upfront. Okay, so we went from basic to outline, but then what if we added a little bit more? What if we got some variety in color or texture? If you look at the screen and see Daryl the dragon, his scales are actually 3D. Got some glittery puppy paint going on there. I added sand when I did The Incredible Race. I called him Stony, the face from Easter Island. It had texture, it had sand all in it, to where it gave it some grit. There are lots of different ways that you can physically add texture, or you can give the look of depth and texture. So part of this is with your painting, which I'm going to demonstrate. And there are two kind of styles of doing it. You'll see both upstairs. I have them both here. Now, plants are the one thing I can freehand, so prepare to be amazed by my plant drawing skills. Just you wait. You can make your plants look however you want. All right, are you guys amazed? This is beautiful, right? Thank you. Thank you. I'm here all day. Okay, so I like to paint wet. And all of my stuff, except for like maybe the hard details, I will paint wet. And because I don't like to have to clean up lots of stuff, I will literally just pour my paint on the cardboard while I'm doing it. So you're gonna paint your green. Let's say I want my little, can you guys see well enough? I can walk it. No, okay. We're gonna walk and paint. So I will pick my color and I'll put it on here. So, all right, we're gonna pretend I did the whole thing. But then I'm gonna add a second layer while it's still wet. Now, you don't have to do it this way. I just won't. So then I'll dip my brush in or cord on there and not get paint in their core. That's the most important. And I'm gonna blend just a little bit, but not a lot. Because the more you run your brush together, the more that it's going to blend. And then the more that it blends, the more that you lose that pop. So I like to have colors right next to each other, very little blending, even some colors that might not necessarily make sense. Now, you could have painted this all the way green, one solid green, and then go back in later with some accent pieces. You could blend more. I will literally, on the green thing, I'll let every color of green that they have at Walmart, and I just mix them. The other option that you can do, like my daughter's sparkly purple paint, is do a color that doesn't normally go in there. So I made this one yesterday. And she had some orange. I'm like, orange would be really fun. I'm gonna start on this side first so they don't feel left out. Starting here. Like, orange would be fun to have on the tips of the leaves. So I add a little bit of orange. But then I went in on this one because I had purple paint and I wanted to use it and it was sparkly. And I made it purple. Do we normally see purple on green things? But it looked fun, it can. Pretty. So you can go in after. This would probably be one that you might want to go after so you don't blend the contrasting colors together. And add a pop of color that doesn't normally go there. Same thing with the hippo up here. The swirls went in after the fact. A different color, different shade. A very solid line, not my messy blending. Sorry, if I walk too fast, just tell me to slow down.
Can you hold up your hippo?
Yes.
Hit it.
Now you'll see my secret up here, because I didn't want a pack of the wood to like put things up, and I wanted to elevate this. So this guy's sitting on paper bowls. I've used mic stand, I've used handles, chairs, all the things. So you look in the main decoration from the test church, they like to use this effect a lot, where they're going in not with the blending craziness, but they'll just go in with a color and do a lot of swirls or a pattern. They always add in cows too. They love cows. Yeah, if you look, their welcome sign always have a cow. So another thing that you can do to elevate your decoration is to not just give the illusion of death, but actually create it. 3D cardboard. They did this upstairs at the snack table. If you've been to the snack table and you saw they had some little contraption like this and they put paper stuff on there. Well, I wanted to make my plants 3D. I started with you guys this time and I'm gonna start over here. So you see my crazy blending. I added some blue. I had some peachy kind of color. I then went in after it was dry. I always outline after because then it gets all messy. But I went in and added some vine details with the black. But to make the 3D, I drew one, and then I traced it to a second one. You're going to cut a notch on one of them that's going from the bottom to a little over halfway. And on the other one, you're going from the top to a little under halfway. Then those go together, paint all sides. Don't break it while you assemble it. And then you have a 3D plant. You could do this with trees, flowers, bushes. Make an animal if you're really good. That might be hard, but I believe in it. Fire, yes. Cactuses. Did you rocks this way? You don't want a paper machine them?
Move.
What else? Any other ideas for 3D things? Diane?
Definitely.
Follow.
What? Talking about the video down.
He kind of was. You'll also see, because I reuse things so much, he's missing a big old chunk of his belly. I also had a giraffe that only had 3 legs. Now, do you think I would still use him with only 3 legs? Sure. Absolutely. You just put a plant in front of the missing leg. Nobody knows. Or even ask your church. You know, your church people are probably, they've got stuff in their yard or in their street.
Before the election, as a little push out of town, always.
So after the election. Or you make friends with someone running. Like, can you give me the ones you didn't use?
They sit and just the
Well, I know, like, there was a guy at our church that ran, but he only ran the 1 year because it was just too much money. So if they're never going to do it again, hey. But yeah, it's another source. Knowing what resources you have available is an excellent idea. If you print up yard signs for BDS, did you guys know that you can print directly from Canva and they're really well priced? So if you're designing your yard sign for your people, maybe all your people are getting a sign, tell them, hey, save that yard sign and give it back to me because we're going to paint on it next year. But you can ship right from Canva. You can design it in Canva, upload your clip art, all your details, ship it right from Canva, and it's actually really well priced comparatively. Fun fact for you. So when I start designing, I make a little something like this. I know, I'm an artist. This was my set design for Zoomerang. I literally will sit and plan out what I want it to look like, and I draw myself little symbols. I know, it's gorgeous. You're laughing at them. We did not have a screen, so we would have TVs, and I would know the position. I literally went and measured my church's stage. I measured all of it. I knew how much room that I'd have, what the steps looked like, and I would design out what I have. Now, if I were really smart, I would have a working list of all the stuff that I had. I didn't keep that. I would just go into the closet that I had and know this would work, this would work, this would work, and then start designing. As you're doing it, you're thinking about layers. One, what I have, layers of how to do things. This is where we get to the interactive part. Actually, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I did. When you're adding texture, other things that you can do is paint with stuff. Bubble wrap. Bubble wrap gives you texture. Aluminum foil, sponges, all of those things can help give texture. Different types of brushes, whether you're doing it wet or you're going with a dry brush later. I did forget that part. So part of this interactiveness of today, I think that's the word, interactiveness, is that I'm challenging you guys to think through your decoration. You've seen some stuff in here, you've seen some stuff out there. How are you going to take your decorations to the next level this year? So over here on the table, if you are an artist like me, you have some paper so where you can literally start designing. What do I have? Maybe you're going to make a list. What do I have? What do I need to build? Because you don't want to take the time to create things that you're not going to use, you don't have space for. Maybe you know, oh, I've got some sand dunes left over. I can paint the back of that for this. Design what you're going to do. You don't have to do this stuff if you just know. And then we have a large pile of cardboard over there. Now, today we are not setting up projectors because I have such faith in you that if I can paint grass, you can paint grass. So my challenge is for you today, either start planning or get a piece of cardboard. We're going to be very careful with the box cutters. Count your fingers, go home with that many fingers. We also do not want to be digging into the floor because they will not be happy with that. So you want to have very good cardboard safety. The box cutters you're going to push up, and then if they're these big ones, you're going to pull the bottom piece down that locks your blade in place. You want to not be doing the box cutter where you're going to run it into your thigh or your stomach. Be very good. I trust you guys though. So you're going to draw some grass, some sort of a plant, and then experiment maybe with a painting technique that you have not used. Maybe you're more of a solid paint gal or guy and you're going to try some wet texture. Or maybe you want to test before you bring back to your crew how to make a 3D plant. So if you're doing this, I'm going to say before you paint, make your notches and test them first.